This has been really great. I met Alfred recently through the Future City Builders program, and so he asked me to speak tonight, and I was like, what is it? What do I do? So I was like, as long as I'm not going first. So this is great. It was really great to hear everyone else's story, and I'm happy to be here. I kind of just wanted to start with my why, and much like Kate, I took the same program in my undergrad. I did the sustainability program at Dal, and it didn't leave me with the same sense of depression. I'm the forever optimist, but I came out with this drive to make change and to kind of right the wrongs that are so pervasive in our society, and systemic inequality and so many equity issues in our cities and in our country and all over the place. So where I decided that I could make the most difference was at the municipal level. So I decided to do a master's in urban planning. So I'm just finishing up that this semester. And I did that in Montreal, and so it was cool because I grew up in Hubbards and then lived in Halifax, and it was nice to be able to kind of go out and see some different examples and then hopefully bring them back here. And so with the Future City Builders Lab, we are looking at housing in Halifax and trying to, we did a survey to reach out to youth in the city and see what people think the issues are. So it's not only the 30 of us who are in this program, but 400 people responded to that. And so we're trying to figure out some solutions. So affordable housing is a big issue, and so we've been kind of coming together in groups to work on that. And we have a pitch coming up on the 4th, Monday, next week. So that's at City Hall if anyone wants to come. So that's kind of one of the things that I've been working on recently. And so, yeah, that's just kind of part of the work that I'm trying to do to make the city a better place. And another thing, I kind of wanted to do a show of hands for anyone that's heard about the Cogswell Redevelopment project. Okay, cool. So I don't know if anyone knows that actually went to council for the 90% design yesterday. I'm not sure how much people know about this, so I'll just kind of go over it. But for council meetings, they happen every 2 weeks. And the agendas come out on Friday, so that's released to the public, and everyone gets to see kind of what council is going to talk about. Sometimes very dull. So understandable that a lot of people aren't necessarily like keeping up on that all the time, but sometimes huge things come up in our city, like the redevelopment of acres and acres of land right adjacent to our downtown. So in the summer of 2018, the city approved the 60% design, which was basically the road layout. And then the 90% design is kind of the public spaces and the roads, and everything except for the buildings and things like that are kind of now approved and planned out. So there was there's 26 organizations actually that came together, kind of spearheaded by the Downtown Halifax Business Commission, but a very diverse group of people. So advocacy groups and nonprofits and business commissions and developers and a whole group of people from a range of kind of viewpoints that have come together, and they have been pushing for more public engagement with the city for this project, because it really is a once-in-a-lifetime project. And the Cogswell interchange, for anyone that doesn't know, was put in the 60s, and there was supposed to be a highway that ran right through our downtown, which luckily was stopped based on community outrage. Historic properties along Barrington were going to be torn down, and a highway was going to be put through to the port. So that's why the Cogswell interchange was built initially. And then when that highway didn't go through, there's really no purpose for it. So it's way overbuilt for the needs of the city and traffic. So it's a fantastic thing that it's going to be torn down. It's really amazing. It's going to be a huge game changer for our city. But the big problem and what this kind of group of organizations has been fighting for since the summer is that there really hasn't been any public engagement. There's been like kind of surface level, like coming to the community and saying like, this is kind of what we plan to do. Like, do you have a comment? But there really hasn't been like a real like level of engagement from kind of the very start, and really trying to make a place that people want to live in and people want to spend time in. And so that's part of the big problem with this project. And specifically, this time around, so on Friday, this council staff report agenda came out for council to discuss and debate and vote on Tuesday. And so they had public engagement in the fall, and they never came back and said, like, this is what we heard, and like, do you have any feedback? Are we getting this right? They just kind of went ahead, and they're really trying to push it through. So this group was kind of trying to raise the profile again and say, like, you really haven't done enough public engagement. So it's kind of unfortunate that it's not really a community-led project. It's very much a top-down, city-led project. And so that's exactly the urban planning that I don't want to do. So it's been a good opportunity to kind of, I was part of that group in the summer through my work with the Halifax Cycling Coalition, and recently I took on the position of chair of the Sustainable Transportation Action Team Committee at the Ecology Action Centre. So we put together a group on Monday night, and we had a couple of the representatives from this advocacy coalition come and speak about the project, and just to try to get the word out there, because it seems that we're pretty well informed in this room. A lot of people raise their hands, but a lot of people just don't know that this is even happening. So we kind of were trying to just at least let people know about it. And so a lot of people did kind of follow up and write into their councillors, and unfortunately the councillors just kind of pushed it through. But hopefully there's kind of this 10% of the design left, and hopefully there will be kind of more public engagement. A question? Yes?
What's left of the 10%? What will that be in comparison to the rest of the design, the 90% that's already been designed?
Yeah, so the 10% is really just like what like siding can go on the buildings, and like what, like how tall the buildings can be. So I mean, that stuff's important too, but any kind of publicly owned infrastructure, public space is like set in stone. So yeah, so I guess that's the type of project that I'm very passionate about, and kind of trying to like encourage this kind of community dialogue. And like, we can't have cities that are built by politicians. Like, we need to create a city that's for us and a city that we want to see. And that's kind of also part of the Future City Builders and the housing initiative. It's really trying to engage youth and people who are going to be living in the city like for years to come. So that's just a couple of the projects that I'm working on. I also kind of wanted to do a plug for the Shift Equity Conference, which is a conference at Dal that I'm helping to organize. And it happens every year, and this year the theme is equity. So it's happening on March 8th and 9th, and on the evening of March 8th we're having a pechakucha or pachakacha. I'm never sure, and we're going to have a lot of cool speakers at that event, including Alfred and the other co-lead for the Future City Builders project, Joyce. So if you want to hear more about that, that would be a great opportunity, and there will be a whole range of speakers. So yeah, come out to that, March 8th. It's Friday evening at the Medjuk building, which is right beside the Central Library, at 7 o'clock. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for listening.